Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the show. This is episode 635, the five of the Two Dumb Yinzers. It is Monday morning. Good morning.
Woo!
Good morning, Michael. How you doing today, brother?
I am doing great, my friend. It's finally back to Steeler week, baby. We have a game this week.
Yeah, it's something I wanted to ask you. What do you do? What do you do to get through a bye week? Good morning to Ron on the board. How you doing, my friend? My question today, guys, what is it? What do you do to get through a bye week? Going into the weekend, it sucks because you have all week long. You're not really waiting for your team to play that weekend. Then when you get there, it's like, then we still have a whole nother week. Just share on the board today, guys, some of the things that you do just to kind of get you through a bye weekend. Good morning to Field of Steel on the board. It is Redskins week. And some might say, don't say that. Don't say Redskins. That's you know. But you know what? I'm an Indian. My high school was an Indian, and I have no problem with Chiefs and Braves and Indians and Redskins. But don't go by me. I'm just the white man.
It's so
But it
hard to
is,
just
guys.
roll with the punches, apparently.
It really is because it's such a
Yeah,
stupid thing. To the
it's
point
just
that the
so hard for
Redskins
people.
don't even like it. It's ridiculous. They liked having that.
It's
But
just so
listen,
hard to
guys,
just go with the flow
why go with the flow though? It makes no sense.
because
But
it's just,
anyway,
oh my god.
anything that we do talk about this week, it's going to be Redskins because there's trivia of the week that ain't certainly going to be from the Commanders' years. Things that we do talk about from the past, those aren't Commanders; those are all Redskins things. So we will be talking a lot of Redskins this week. So many times every time I do say Redskins. This is yes, thank you to Feel the Steel. This is Redskins week. Good morning to John. He says investing in me saw in Korea. I'm not getting here.
I'm
You
not getting that reference
can
at
say
all.
no. Neither am I.
Neither am I.
Uh, Ron Navy says I'm pissed once I found out what Permani Brothers did. When I visit PA again, I will never give them my business. Permani Brothers kind of got put in a position, Ron, and it happened both ways. It happened one time when a person from one party went, and it happened another time when a person from another party went. I don't really want to get into specifics today, but it was almost kind of like you're running a business, you're trying to do the right thing, you're trying not to piss people off, but then you have a presidential candidate showing up. You got to do what you got to do, in my opinion. But you know what? I'm not going to let that drag me down. Today is
Unannounced. There was no advanced planning. If there was advanced planning, it would have went perfectly.
for both parties because this happened to both sides. Both people were one was the president, and the other person was the vice president, and it happened on two different occasions in two different locations at Permanis. But that's just listen. It is a big day here in Pittsburgh. Tomorrow's a huge day, and the reason being, tomorrow is the trade deadline in the NFL,
Oh yeah, baby.
and that's the only thing that matters to me.
That's all I care about.
Um,
Will
Tomorrow by
we or
4
won't we?
o'clock, we will know. We will know if we'll have a number 2 receiver on this team. We'll get more into that this show. I'm tired of politicians pissing me off. Is what I'm tired of.
Oh yeah.
If I got to hear about this anymore in these campaign commercials and fuck, but it'll soon be done, and we will be playing the Redskins this weekend, and I cannot wait to play the Redskins. That's right, everybody. The Washington Redskins. We're traveling down to Washington to play the Sun. You guys, good morning. Welcome back. Mike, what about you? What do you do to get yourself through a bye week? I mean, that's all the time. What do you do? How do you deal with that?
Oh, this one was kind of easy because we had the Monday night game, so it didn't feel like we had a bye week. We played Monday, and then by the time
Like, what do you
Saturday rolled around, watched some college football, and then we had the good slate of games this NFL weekend. So I just kind of just hype myself up for the games that were coming up that I was able to watch, and that's how I got through it. It didn't feel like a bye week where we had the game Monday. We talked about it Tuesday and we talked about it Thursday. So it was like it flew by for me and for us. It feels like on the show. So this year it was quite simple, but in years past, it was a struggle, man. It was like I didn't know what to do with myself. Like leading up to it, like Sunday, it didn't affect me Sunday because I can always find something to do. But it was the leading up to Sunday that was killing me.
um yeah, Ron, yeah, all right. Ron says no, they let Kamala put her own people in and kicked out regulars, and then they banned JD Vance. That's facts, so F them. Sorry that's wrong. I again here's the thing, if you're trying to be non-political, if you're just trying to run your business and do the best that you can, I mean, you get a situation thrown at you, and again, you just try to do the best that you can. And I don't think that I would do the same thing, but I don't know. I don't know. It's hard to say. I'm not a business owner or a manager or anything of that nature, so it's tough. But again, I've had Permane Brothers since then. I'm not going to let the political world f up my enjoyments. I'm just not. You know,
I
whatever happened there that day, it's not
all
even
the
the Permane
time.
Brothers. What's that?
Nothing.
No, what'd you say?
I said I eat Permane Brothers all the time. Like I got bodied by Permane Brothers.
No, you don't. But I literally, huh?
I said I got
What'd you
bodied by
say?
Permane Brothers. I said I
Like
got
you're.
bodied by Permane Brothers.
Well, yeah, that's true. But again, I do. I get what you're saying. I understand. But I can't let that piss me off. I do like Permanis. As a matter of fact, I got some last week when I was at work. I door dashed it. It was delicious. So again, I'm not going to let these idiots ruin my day. I'm just not. I refuse to. I refuse to. Um, so that's that. Again, big day tomorrow. The day we've all been waiting for. The day I can't wait for. Trade deadline. That's right. We're going to see it right here for the Pittsburgh Steelers as we get ready. Again, guys, we didn't get much help this weekend by teams that did play, but we did get a little help here and there. And, I guess it is what it is. You got to sit back, watch everybody else play, and hope things fall in your favor. Mike, the Steelers. Now, the trade deadline is tomorrow, and these are the names that you keep hearing swirl around.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Christian Kirk was the big name they were trying to work on last week from Jacksonville, and then he
Yeah.
got injured, and that fell
Mm-hmm.
through. So these are the remaining names that I keep hearing over and over and over. Adam Thielen, the longtime Viking, he plays for Carolina now, two-time All-Pro. Mike Williams, he was a Charger, now he's a Jet. Darius Slayton, who we just seen had last week against us for the Giants, he had 4 catches for over 100 yards. Cortland Sutton, now that the Denver Broncos lost again, I maybe think that he might be in the hunt. And also another name, Mike, that we brought up late last week was Tyler Lockett. Now that the Seahawks have
Yeah.
lost 5 straight games in a row, his name certainly has been coming up a little bit more. Your outside chance, guys. Your outside chance, guys, are Cooper Kupp, which I think he was an option in people's minds until said he's not. But again, I see his name popping up during the week. T. Higgins, who I would love to have, but the Bengals in their right mind would never ever trade T. Higgins to the Pittsburgh
Yeah.
Steelers,
No.
especially considering they still think that they're in a playoff race. And finally, DK Metcalf popped up again throughout the week last week. So these are a few names. I mean, a lot of things have to fall into place for something like this to happen. But I from what I understand, the guys are on the phone. They're making phone calls, showing interest, trying to get something figured out. But we have roughly 28 hours, 27 and a half hours, give or take, and we will know if we have a number 2 receiver heading down the tough stretch of our schedule. But tonight, after the game, the Monday night game, will be the official halfway point in the NFL season.
Yes.
They'll wrap up week 9. We have 9 weeks to go, so it is trade deadline tomorrow. I can't believe, Mike, that we're halfway through the season already.
It's flown by, man. It took forever to get to the regular season. Now it's here. It's almost gone in a blink of an eye. Hopefully by this time tomorrow, we have news to report that we do have a new number 2 receiver. It looked like we were going to land Christian Kirk. Reports from NFL Network, from Tom Purcello, and then Adam Schefter from ESPN both saying that they had sources that a deal was in place or almost in place, and then Kirk goes out and gets hurt. That's just like, don't report that. Don't get my hopes up. I did not need that kick in the teeth.
Yeah, don't even report this stuff anymore. Just dress, put him in their uniform, put him on the field on Sunday and surprise us at this point. Yeah. Don't talk about it.
Yeah, no, yeah. Like when that report came out, I'm like, are you shitting me? That was just already a kick in the dick, a stab in the back. It sucked. It sucked hard because that was a guy that I thought would fit well in the team. That the modeled number 2 receiver, someone's going to get 800 to 900 yards. Well, 5 to 8 touchdowns a year. That's the guy we need opposite George, and that was our guy. And then he got hurt. It sucks. It's going to be hard to get someone. I know now where people are starting to see on Twitter, they're saying go after get Lockett. Do we?
Yes, we want anything at this point. I want anything
that's
going
to catch the ball and fall down immediately when he can gain another 12 yards.
We need another target. We need another target.
He's a short-handed receiver. He has a connection with Russ, so I wouldn't mind it. But at the same time, it's like, is that a guy who's going to endear himself to Yinzer Nation?
You're not going to be bringing in Jerry Rice at this point. It's gotten to the point to where we're almost at mercy of the situation. And you know what? At this point, I can't listen again. I keep saying, which is a very realistic idea. If George Pickens gets injured, and let's say he's out for the duration of the season, excuse me, I really feel uncomfortable with Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin being my 1 and 2 receivers going through the tough part of the schedule and possibly into the playoffs after that. I just, at this point, something. I just give us something. Speaking of which, Deontay Johnson makes his debut yesterday with the Baltimore Ravens. Glitch, he played 13 snaps, which he didn't expect him to play a lot. He wasn't used to the offense. He's a slow learner. But anyway, he played 13 snaps and had 0 targets. So that shows you how excited they are that he's around. I don't know. You bring in a guy this weekend for the Steelers, I guarantee we throw the ball to him. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, the way that offense was clicking, like they didn't need him. They didn't even need to throw in the ball that game. And I want them to go get more offensive weapons because that defense has a lot of holes in it. I think they lost. Well, they lost lost someone for the long term on the D line. So go ahead, add more offensive weapons because your defense is going to be leaking like a sieve here soon. And Lamar's going to choke down the stretch like he always does in the playoffs. He's going to have that reputation until he can prove otherwise. He's having another damn good regular season, but their offense doesn't. They don't scare me down the stretch.
I agree. I listen. I mean, they're good. I acknowledge they're good, but we are the team that's built. Nice. We are the team that's built best to beat the Baltimore Ravens. It's no secret. Let me rewind just a little bit here. Ron says, "I always speak my mind. Sorry, I can't." No, you're fine. You're fine, dude. I mean, we could have a really good political conversation on another time. Like I said, I try not to alienate people on here. Like I said, I understand what you're saying. I do.
Just me.
But there might be somebody who has a different opinion. And again, I don't want them to not tune in because of my political or whatever anybody's political stance. So that's why I kind of dance around it. We could have a political show and it would be crazy. And Mike and I would be yelling all the time. And but as I said, I just try not to alienate anybody. That's all. Ron also says Niners will get the wide receiver instead of us. Just watch.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be the most fitting piece for this season? That if that happened.
Yeah.
If they end up getting the guy,
they'll get 2 of the guys that we were trying to get.
Yeah.
That's what will happen.
John says Dragon Slayer is one of the codes for a craft-like message experience on this track. Okay.
Massage. Yeah,
Oh,
that's what
okay.
I'm
Yeah, I
talking.
got you. A
Yeah,
massage.
that's
I
what I'm
see.
talking about, baby.
Interesting.
That's what
And then
I
also
am
Ron
talking
says
about.
Robinson smashing with the Rams. Mike, you did mention Lamar
F you, Matt
Jackson.
Canada.
You did mention Lamar Jackson. Here's some interesting guys. If you think that, Lamar is just, some people do, they think he's this great quarterback, but listen to the compared numbers between our starting quarterback and Lamar Jackson since 2020. Let's keep it kind of recent.
Yeah.
Since 2020, guys, Lamar Jackson since 2020 has 63 starts. Russell Wilson has 62 starts. Lamar Jackson since 2020 has a 98.2 passer rating. Russell Wilson has a 98.1 passer rating. Lamar Jackson rushing plus passing touchdowns since 2020, 119. Russell Wilson passing plus rushing touchdowns since 2020, 121. Two more than the the
Two-time
MVP.
MVP.
Interceptions, Lamar Jackson since 2020, 38 of them. Russell Wilson, 38. The exact amount. And finally, completion percentage, 65.1 for Lamar Jackson and 65.2 for Russell Wilson.
They're the same player.
They are the same player. I mean, the only difference is one guy could break it for a 50-yard run at any given time.
Yeah.
So if you defend that well, that's the name of the game. Otherwise, you're playing Russell Wilson. So again, anybody that I just don't get I don't get the idea that we should feel out of the league of
Yeah.
the Baltimore Ravens. It's again, nobody in this league is built to beat the Ravens more than the Pittsburgh Steelers, being within the division, being longtime rivals. So I'm kind of purposely looking past the Commanders purposely, but we'll get into why here in a second. Guys, our next opponent this Sunday is the Washington Commanders. This team, guys, the Washington Commanders are 7-2 for the first time since 1996.
Ooh.
I was a senior in high school. The last time that this team was 7-2. You know what? I might have just graduated because it would have been football season of 96. So I would have just graduated high school.
Yeah.
But this Washington team sitting atop the NFC East, a team that has the Eagles, a team that has the Cowboys, who was supposed to be good, but they get beat again. So interesting, guys. The Commanders team is going to be a good game for the Steelers. Then we play the Ravens, and then 4 days later we play the Browns. So, guys, as this week approaches, it starts to become rapid. We start to see that tough part of the schedule start to play out. And as I said, it's going to be them, and then I think the Bengals, and then the Browns, and then the Bengals, and then it's just crazy. So we do have to start, getting healthy, getting ready for this stretch because, guys, we are 6-2. We dropped down to the 3 seed over the weekend just because we didn't play. Buffalo moved into number 2 overall, but we still sit at number 3. Some other things did happen. We'll go through scores of games over the weekend also in just a minute. Let's see on the board. John says, I'm tired of the wide receiver carousel list for the past few months. I'm glad it's almost over. That's why I think too, John. It's just like election day with me. The sooner it's over, the better. I'll be happy. P says, beware the strip and pretty girls playing blackjack at 2 a.m.
But that's when all the fun happens. That's when the fun happens.
Also, Finchy Blue Eyes says, same player, different supporting cast. Yeah, I mean, basically. And finally, let's see what else John says. John says that Jackson can't handle playoff level Ds to dial up different schemes. Spag zones him. Flores came up with the plan to beat him 3 years ago. He said Washington hasn't been good since I got my first W2. That would put that in the 80s, I would guess. They did have a good team in the 80s. They won a few sporadic Super Bowls. And then also the Philly still says, so this game versus the Redskins, I say, find out who really wants to play, like a preseason game, who really wants to step up, a test game to get ready for the AFC North and Chiefs. And even the Eagles, too. I mean, they're not as good as they were, but that's still going to be a good game for us. And the fact that we play in Philadelphia damn near every single time we play the Eagles, going to their stadium. So it's a tough schedule, guys. There's no two ways around it. These final 9 games of the year, it's going to be a tough road, but it's going to certainly battle test this team as as every other team as well. But we do have one of the tougher schedules in the league. The remaining schedules, I do know that. So getting healthy, getting everyone on the same level, maybe getting a receiver here in the next 26 hours be a good idea. But this is where we're at, Mike. This is the season in a nutshell. We're halfway through tonight after Monday Night Football, a game that could help us as well. The
Yeah.
Buccaneers do travel to Kansas City to play the Chiefs at 8:15 tonight on Monday Night Football. If the Chiefs lose, that drops them to 7-1. When we're 6-2, that'll put us one game behind them. And then also the Buffalo Bills they'll also tie, I believe. They'll tie Kansas City, or they'll be a half game behind them or something
Yeah.
like this. So a lot of things happening this weekend. John says, Ryan, the election will drag out in the courts with the media fanning over. Oh, I know. Well, I know. I know. Oh, God, do I know. When one of my first elections in my adult life was the hanging chads with Al Gore and George W. Bush, and I knew right away when I was an adult that this was a pain in the ass. It was a quagmire, if you will, and the hanging chads that took forever. But anyway, I'm not going to bring everybody down with this. Mike, what
Yes.
do you think, man? Give me a your feeling on the Washington Commanders going into this weekend?
Oof. It's gonna be a lot tougher game than we thought it would be at the beginning of the season. Um, no one saw that this offense would play the way they are. Very few people thought Jaden Daniels would perform well as a rookie, and right now those who thought that he would are looking like geniuses right now. This offense is clicking at just an unreal pace. Um, I got some good players on that offense. McLaurin might be one of the most underrated wide receivers in the league. That dude's a beast. Pretty good running back, and what Brian Robin or oh my god, I forgot his name, but yeah, pretty good young running back. Yeah, Brian Robinson, excuse me. Uh, their defense, we should be able to run on them. They are one of the worst run defenses in the league. It's going to be a tough game to pass against them. They have the number 5 passing defense in the NFL, only giving up 184 yards through the air. But you know what? So did the Jets. The Jets had a pretty good one, and Russ and George Pickens cooked against them. Uh, I think this is going to be a tough matchup. Jaden Daniels, we have to contain him. I don't want him to get rocking and rolling. Yeah, I know we usually do well against rookie quarterbacks, but he's played what 8-9 games already in this league. It's hard to say that he's that bright-eyed, scare rookie anymore. He's seen a lot in the NFL. Um, so I think this is going to be a tough, close game. But if we can get that ground game going early, force them to bring a guy down to the box, play one high safety again, let George cook, let Russ cook. Boys, I think we got this one. I don't think it's going to be in the bag, but I think we go into Washington and come out with a W. And yeah, Steeler Freak's right. He is looking like how Stroud looked last year.
Yeah. If you did watch the Commanders or you had the opportunity to, they did play who we beat last week. So the team that we played last week played the team that we play next week over the weekend. The Commanders won that game 27-22. They beat the Giants by 5 points. We beat the Giants by, I don't know what, 8 points, 7 points, whatever it was, 26-18. Jaden Daniels had 209 yards, 2 touchdowns. He went 15 for 22. Their running game, I'm looking at the numbers or not, was impressive. Their leading rusher was Rodriguez. He had 11 carries for 52 yards. Eckler had 11 carries for 42 yards. So between two guys, I mean, I guess it was a good day. Then also Daniels additionally had a 35 yards rushing on the stat board. And the receiving board, Brown, their leading receiver, had 5 catches for 60 yards. I mean, nothing jumps off the paper here at me, Mike. Is the numbers deceiving in this particular week because they are a division team? As I said, the Steelers and the Ravens could be one team could be 11-4, one team could be
Yeah.
4-11, but you look at the stat sheet after those two teams play one another, and they're going to be Ravens and Steelers numbers. Nobody's going to shine. Nobody's going to have great, a huge day. It's just what it is. These two teams always play each other. They know each other better than anybody. Mike, is this 5-point win by Washington over the weekend, is that the case of playing a division team, or do you think that because I said this Giants was not a good team at all, where does that fall for you?
For me, it was a divisional divisional opponent. They played the Giants in week 2, and they only eked out a 21-18 point win. So again, it's familiarity between the opponents. I feel caused this, and they were without Brian Robinson, their starting running back, so took a little edge off the game there. Um, so I think that's what it was, and. hmm, excuse me. I'm not taking this team lightly, even though they struggled against the points up against the Giants. We did too, but we shot ourselves in the foot a lot. And I think if we clean up those stupid mental mistakes, hopefully coming back from off the bye week, that stuff's cleaned up. We can roll against this team. Get that O line rolling early, get the play action going, and I think we can pick apart that secondary. It they don't look that impressive on paper to me. So I think it's more scheme than skill players back there than what they have. I think we'll be able to do do something against this secondary.
Um, John says, great game to start blitzing to see if the kid can handle it. You know what? I agree. Show him the pressure, show him different looks early. But if he, like some quarterbacks, they're able to read it and react fast enough, and they start beating us, we have to know to also adjust instead of continuing to do the same thing all the way until halftime to let them, like I said, if they are successful early against the blitz, I think we have to adjust early. We can't wait till halftime to make the adjustment. A lot of times that's what this team will do. And I think that's kind of necessary throughout the course of the game. I would throw a lot of different looks at him. I would throw, just crazy shit to see how he reacts. And if he's able to beat you on that, okay, then you back up and change your, you revise a little bit. But if it's working, start moving it around, putting different stuff in and giving different looks, and you do it as long as it continues to work. That's just one thing the Steelers do. They tend to they linger on a game plan a little too long when it isn't working. I'd like to see that as well. I'd like to see him getting chased around a little bit back there.
Yeah.
Also, Feel the Steel says, there you go, Mike. This game, run the ball and pound it. No Russ. I would love to see the Steel offense pound the ball. Yeah, I know. He'll take off. You got to keep him in the pocket, but he's got to get pressured too. You can't you can't just let him stand back there and pick us apart, because no matter how good our defense is and how young he is, you see this, you know what I mean? And guys get back there, and once they start picking you apart, it's hard to get them to stop. But let's get into go ahead, Mike.
I would say real quick, this would be a good game. Hopefully, if Herbig is back, get him, Highsmith, and Watt all in the field at the same time with Patrick Queen in the middle. Do some weird exotic looks, that we've been wanting to do, but due to injuries, haven't been able to.
You have these quick linebackers where you could do so many different kind of stunts and just have people moving everywhere. Pre-snap, we have the personnel to do that.
Yeah, we want to talk about like the injuries we had on the offense. The injuries to those two linebackers kind of forced the defense to go to like a base defense until they all came back healthy. Because we were starting to see all three of them mixed in before Highsmith got hurt, before Herbig got hurt.
Yeah.
Now they're all back healthy. I think this would be the game to roll it up, because we haven't done it a whole lot. They don't have a lot of film on what we would do with all three of those guys, plus with a Queen in there, plus maybe even with a Peyton Wilson in there, all those quick guys moving around, flying to the football. I think this would be the game to roll out some of those exotic looks, see if you can confuse the kid.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, guys. Let's go over these scores of the week, Mike. On Thursday night, of course, we talked briefly about it last week. On Friday, the Jets win 21-13 over the Texans. Into the weekend, the Carolina Panthers, after trading Glitch away, they managed to get a win. 23-22, the Panthers beat the Saints. What a weird season, because the Saints, didn't they put up like 50 points against the Cowboys earlier this year? And then the Cowboys beat somebody that was good. Now the Cowboys are losing to bad teams. What a crazy season.
And Derek Carr, remember that he was Derek Carr, and then threw another murder ball and got his star young receiver put in the hospital. Maybe we can go down to New Orleans, wheel Olave out of the hospital, and bring him into Pittsburgh. He won't know what's going on. His brain's scrambled right now.
I don't want him. Get the hell out of here. I don't want a guy with a scrambled brain.
He might work.
Commanders and Giants. Obviously, we just spoke about that game, 27-22. The Commanders did win. The Buffalo Bills beat the Dolphins by 3, 30-27 in Buffalo. Oh, the Browns. God bless them, huh? They lose again, 27-10 to the Chargers. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Browns. I love these guys. I love having them in the division. But geez, Titans beat the Patriots 20-17.
That was a wild finish to that game.
I didn't see what happened.
So the Patriots drive down. Drake May scrambling, blindly throws a ball into the end zone as time expires. Catch. They go to overtime. Uh, Mason leads them down almost on a game-winning touchdown drive, but they fumble inside the 20. Then they kick a field goal. Drake May starting to lead the Patriots back for a game-winning touchdown. Picked off at the end. It was just a wild back and forth finish at the end. There, it's the most exciting ending to a game I've seen in a while.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You know what? Maybe since they gave D Hop up to Kansas City, maybe they'll consider giving us one of their other receivers they have.
Ugh, I don't want any of them.
I want that other one. Who's the one from Cincinnati?
Oh, Tyler
Tyler
Boyd.
Boyd. I would take Tyler Boyd.
I'd take Tyler Boyd. That's about it.
Yeah, I don't want any of them other guys.
Yeah.
Also, the Falcons, they beat the Cowboys 27-21.
Woo. Boyd's got some injuries though. CD Lamb and Dak Prescott.
They're stick a fork in them. They're
They're
done.
done.
And you know what? They're the most annoying people throughout my football season and my
Yeah.
social media feeds is the Cowboy fan.
Dude, I tell you what, though, it's been a tough week for them. The Yankees lost, and then the Cowboys lost.
And all three teams the state of New York sent to Pittsburgh over the past couple of weeks did all lose when they came to Pittsburgh to play football. Also, Mike, the Bengals get a win 41-24 over the Raiders. The Raiders are one of the most schizophrenic teams I've ever seen. They beat the Ravens, but they lose to the Bengals.
Make it make sense.
It doesn't make sense. Speaking of the Ravens, Mike, they beat the Broncos, which may benefit us in another way because Broncos take another L. I don't imagine they think they can make a Super Bowl run.
Yeah.
Cortland Sutton had a great 2 years with Russell Wilson.
Yeah, he did.
He had some the best years, the best touchdown year of his career was last year with 10 of them, and that was with Russell Wilson back here. So something to keep in mind going into tomorrow. Also, Mike, the Cardinals beat up the Bears 29-3 or 29-9. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
The Cardinals. This Bears team seems to be a disaster still. Surprise, surprise. But the Cardinals, they're a team that any given week they could beat your ass. But again, they're schizophrenic too. They could be the worst team, and then they could come out and put up 20. Beat the Bears 29-9.
You never know. Yeah, you never know what Cardinals team you're getting week to week because they have talent on that roster. Kyler Murray, he'll wow you one week and then make you want to throw your remote control through the TV the next. It's just wild. And then the Bears leaving their quarterback in at the end of the game and he gets hurt. You pull him at that point. The game's over.
The Bears are a disaster. They're never going to be good. Anytime they get a number one quarterback in the future, tell whoever's telling you that they're never going to be good because you're going to be correct.
Yeah, we'll see you in about 4 years, Caleb.
Yeah, you'll be a Steeler as soon as Russ retires.
You'll be our next reclamation project.
The Bears are our minor league team.
They are.
As the Pirates are the Houston Astros and New York Yankees minor league team. The Bears seem to be our minor league team.
If we can only get the same amount of results out of those guys.
Yeah. Where's the Watt hater? He'll be on sometime this week. I think he'll probably be on.
He's lurking.
Feel the Steel's ready for him.
He is too. I love it.
I can't wait.
Coming in fired up today. I'm loving it.
I can't wait. Next game on the list, guys, was the Eagles 28, the Jaguars 23. Jaguars not very good at all, and a team that we play down the stretch here only beats them by 5. Philadelphia is obviously a shell of their former self. This team is not what they were, but they have a running back, Mike, don't they? Tell me something about the running back in the day he might have had yesterday.
I can show you.
Mike was telling me this morning. I didn't see this highlight. I think he's about to show us something that Saquon Barkley did yesterday that was impressive. Let's take a look-see on the screen. Here we go. Eagles pass to Saquon Barkley. 1 tackle, spin, 2. Backwards jumps. Now that was a run, man.
Well, was that? I was watching that live. I had NFL Red Zone going, and that popped up on the screen, and like my jaw dropped. The announcers were going crazy. What?
It was
Why were you
weird. It was
thinking?
almost like you
Why
hit
do
the
you
wrong
think that?
button in Madden.
Exactly. That's what it was. People are commenting on Twitter. What animation
Like
is
it
that in
glitched. Who
Madden?
jumps
Yeah,
backwards,
yeah. Like, why would you do that? I'm just like, when he jumped, I'm like, oh god, he's hurt. He's done. His knee's gonna go flying, and he landed. If I'm his coach, I'm saying, well done. Don't ever fucking do it again.
Yeah. The Rams beat the Seahawks. Again, 5 straight losses for Seattle. The Rams win this game 26-20. The Lions stay tough in the NFC with another win. They
Ooh,
beat the Packers by 10, 24-14. I think throughout the course of the game, it was a more dominating victory.
yeah,
The 10-point win makes it look a little closer than what it actually was.
yeah.
And then finally, last night on Sunday Night Football, the Vikings and the Colts went at it. The Vikings beat the Colts 21-13, which is good for us because the further the Colts fall,
Yeah.
the less relevant that head-to-head tiebreaker they have against us is. I believe they're
Yeah.
about 2 or 3 games behind us now, so I'm not worried about them. There's nothing. I mean, we're sitting in a pretty good spot. We truly, honestly are. That is the week scores, guys. Also tonight, the Buccaneers take on the Chiefs. If the Buccaneers can get a win tonight, maybe with Baker Mayfield. The thing is, the kid, he has that vibe. He feels like possibly he could get a game like this done. However, his receivers are all injured. He has a lot of things going on around him on this team that may prevent him from performing as well as he could. But again, maybe you root for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers tonight because that win would certainly help the Steelers in the AFC moving forward, Mike.
That would be nice. We need help just because the way going down the stretch, I'm kind of worried. Like if we do stumble somewhere along the way, I want us to have a cushion on teams, have that tiebreaker going for us.
Absolutely, man. And the thing is, we're doing everything that we need to do. We lost
Yeah,
to Joe Flacco, and we lost on the last play of the game to Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Things could definitely be a lot
yeah.
worse. Sitting where we're at is a good thing at this point. Let me go through these divisions real quick, and then we'll move on. The AFC East, the Buffalo Bills are 7-2. Get this, guys, they could have the division won by Thanksgiving. That's right. The Buffalo
Ooh,
Bills could win the AFC East by Thanksgiving. The Bills are 7-2. The second place team is the Jets. They're 3-6. And then the Dolphins and Patriots in the basement. The Dolphins 2-6. The Patriots 2-7. In the AFC West, the Chiefs are 7-0. The Chargers are 5-3. Broncos 5-4. That's the thing I don't like about the Broncos. They're 5-4 at the deadline. They're not going to want to give
yeah.
up their guy. They still think they have a shot, and tomorrow is the deadline, unfortunately. And the Raiders fall to 2-7. One of their only wins of the season, Mike, was against the Baltimore Ravens.
You know what? I'm glad. I'm glad they caught the Ravens early because now I don't think they would win them. But they keep losing, and maybe they have a receiver like in Jacoby Myers. They would not
Mm.
mind trading. Like he's another guy I wouldn't mind having. He's not your typical number two, but he's another veteran out there that I would trust.
And you know what's so crazy? Yeah. You know what's so crazy? The speculation of wide receivers all the way back to preseason with Brandon Ayuk and all the issues with that. After tomorrow, if we make no moves, it's over. There's no more
Yeah,
speculation.
yeah.
You are what you are as a team, and it's time to
Mm-hmm.
go. So that's why I hope that we get something. We get something. That's all I ask. Just something. Um,
We'll trade for him if they get hurt.
it wouldn't
I'm just
surprise me
saying
at this point.
the way the
It
season's
wouldn't.
going,
Right? Would it surprise you at all?
it would not at all. Unfortunately, it would not surprise me at all.
Let's see. Phil still says, well, I wanted to say Watt will chill out this week. He won't go kamikaze versus the Redskins because he'll be 1,000% ready versus the Ratbirds. Also, Finch says, it warms my heart to see the Patriots and the Dolphins in the basement. Me too. Just for the hell that the Patriots put us through for 2 decades. I love nothing more to see them in last place. Last place. Last place. They're
Last
below
place,
the they're,
last place.
they're below the Dolphins even.
Like they're one of the teams right now vying for that number one overall draft pick.
When you sell your soul to the devil, it eventually comes back to get you. The New England Patriots, they're going to be bad for a while. Mark my words on that. Guys, the AFC South, the Houston Texans sit in first place with a 6-3 record. Second place, the Indianapolis Colts, or 4-5, sorry. The Titans 2-6 and the Jags 2-7. And then here within our own division, the Steelers, of course, up top. The Ravens in second place with a 6-3 record. The Bengals, believing that they can make the playoffs, are 4-5. And the Browns, the cellar dwellers as usual. No matter what they do. Listen, this is funny about the Browns. It's not like they don't have okay, the Pirates stink and they never have good players. They're just cheap. They don't bring good players in. They never put together good teams.
Yeah.
The Browns, they had Odell Beckham Jr., they had Amari Cooper, they had Kareem Hunt, they had every best
Nick Chubb.
quarterback off the top of the draft. Well, I think Chubb's still there, right?
Yeah. My bad.
Okay. They had every top receiver in every draft from 1999, basically. They had the best defense in the league one year. This team just they stink. They're the Pirates of football.
They are,
There's
but
nothing they could do.
Yeah.
Because like I said, the Pirates, we just don't pay big players to come here. They're giving the guys money and they still stink. Make that make sense.
Like they had like one of the best offensive lines for the longest time, a good running game, a damn good defense.
Joe Thomas, one of the best. I mean,
they had that Kareem Hunt, Chubb, a young Baker Mayfield who was showing signs of being an above average to like star type quarterback, and then they just couldn't do anything with it through poor ownership, poor GM, and poor coaching. It's a sight to behold, man. You put like a competent coach, a competent owner, and a competent GM up there with the resources that they had, they would have walked away with at least one championship and a couple runs into the AFC Championship game. Like it's comical at this point. I'm glad I'm not a Browns fan because it's like being a Pirate fan.
it's almost like there's a party that wants to feel bad, like
A little bit, but I don't want to.
yeah. Like when you,
Like,
yeah, I mean, you just want to, exactly. You feel bad, but you'd rather just hate them instead and go on with your life. And that's what I do.
Yeah, that's what I do too. Like anytime I start to feel bad, I remember, and then they're the Browns. F them.
And every time they beat us, it's like the Super Bowl. So F them.
Yeah.
Also, guys, over in the NFC East looks like this. Of course, the Commanders, who we play this week, are atop the NFC East with a 7-2 record. The Eagles are in second place with a 6-2 record. Cowboys fall to 3-5 with the loss over the weekend, and the Giants down to 2-7 in the basement of that division. The NFC North, the Detroit Lions, probably the strongest team and most overall put together team at this point. The Lions are in first place. Vikings 6-2, second place. Packers 6-3, and then the Bears 4-4 in the basement. A pretty good division. Like nobody is under 500 in the NFC North.
Best division in football, man. They're like us from last year, man.
I would take our division and put it up against their division in a heartbeat, though. I would.
We got the Browns.
We got the Steelers and the Ravens. Yeah, but they got the Bears.
Yeah, that's true. That is true.
Also, Mike, the NFC West, the Cardinals are in first place over there with the 5-4. Rams and 49ers tied in second place with 4-4 records, and Seattle in last place with a 4-5. So they're pretty clumped all together in the NFC West.
Yeah, so like you're not going to get a receiver from Seattle. You're not going to get a receiver from LA because they're so tight right there. That's what sucks about the parity right now. You're going to have to look at to get any wide receiver if you're a Steeler fan. Look at all the teams that have two wins, and that's where you're going to get someone.
It's good that Seattle lost 5 in a row. I think that helps, but they, again in the division, they're still in it. And then finally, the NFC South, the Falcons are in first place with a 6-3 record. The Buccaneers, who play tonight against the Kansas City Chiefs, are 4-4, and then the Panthers and the Saints are both tied in the basement with a 2-7 record on the year.
Ugh.
So that's the way it looks, Mike, at the halfway point. Again, after Monday Night Football tonight, that's the halfway point of the NFL season. How fast did that go?
Way too fast, my friend. It needs to slow down a little. I was hoping like the bye week would slow it down for us, but it flew by with having that game on Monday. It's
gonna be It's gonna be Pirate season before you know it.
Don't say that. Why are you bringing down the vibe? we're going to talk to politics now to bring us back up, okay?
Yeah, I know. Who wants to talk politics? This is what the AFC looks like right now, Mike.
Ooh.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, Corey Beavers is saying our best shot is Slayton. I would like that. And he's the guy I'm looking at too. But if we can get Slayton or Myers, I would be happy with those two.
I'd take anybody at this point. Again, at this point, there's not much that I wouldn't be happy. Just get us somebody that's a number 2. Mike, what I was going to say is this is the what the playoffs look like right now in the AFC after this weekend's games. And the
Mm-hmm.
Chiefs are, of course, the Buffalo Bills, number 2. They moved up to number 2 since they got that 7th win. They're 7-2. We dropped to number 3, being 6-2. The Texans are number 4. They dropped well spots, 6-3 seed in the AFC as we speak with their 6-3 record. And the Chargers and then the Broncos are the 6 and 7 seed in the playoffs. So if the started today, it looks like the Steelers play the LA. I'm sorry, at home once, which is what it was before we bumped up last week. So if this playoff today, and they don't, the Chargers. But again, the second half of the schedule starts soon, Mike. So throw everything out the window that we've seen so far. That's only half of the season. Also, guys, Mike,
I'm
name
looking
that
forward to the
we
second
talked
half
about.
continent, though.
We talked about this name the other day. Why did we cut him? Was it to create space? Dylan Cook has been signed back to the practice squad. So who knows? We will see, guys, over the next 27 hours, give or take, if the Steelers make a move. Mark Malone on the board says, I'll be surprised if we do trade for somebody. You know what? Unfortunately, I have that feeling. I just got that feeling in the back of my mind. It doesn't feel like we're going to. It doesn't feel like we're going to do anything, but gosh, we need somebody. We need a number 2 receiver. Again, if you think we'll be all right, just think of this real quick. We could lose George Pickens with it through an injury for the rest of the season. It's not out of the question that could happen in the course of a football game. And if that does happen, guys, we have Van Jefferson and Calvin Austin, the number 1 and number 2, going through the stretch of this schedule. So keep that in mind. We need a receiver. Also, Mike did address Corey on this first text. On his second message, Corey Beaver says, I truly think the only reason we benched Fields was so we could use our 4th for a wide receiver trade. If we kept Fields out there, we lose that trade bait. No other circumstances does Tomlin bench. Hot hand. You know what? That makes a lot of sense, Mike. I mean, is there any possibility in your mind? Do you think that Fields could be involved in a trade to get us one of these better names on this list that somebody that needs a quarterback? We're saying, well, this team, they're not going to do it. This team, not going to do it. They're still in the hunt. Would somebody do it if we sweeten the deal with the Justin Fields, maybe?
I don't know. And because I don't want to do it. I'd like to keep in their case Rose gets hurt. And Corey, I don't know. Is that 4th round protected? I don't know if we're able to trade it. Because what if Russ gets hurt? We're going to go with Kyle Allen and keep Fields on the bench. So that's where it becomes a little.
Kyle Allen is what a backup quarterback's supposed to feel like. You know what I mean? There's not many teams that have this luxury of having 2 guys. But again,
See, I don't know. See, I wouldn't even be opposed to using a 3rd round pick to get one of these receivers, depending on their contract situation. If they're signed through the next year and the year after, I'd go out and use a 3rd because you're getting an NFL ready guy. You think you're going to have a team that's going to be ready to compete for a run this year and next year. Give up that extra piece of draft capital. I'd have no problem doing a 3rd. If they have to do that 4th, keep Fields on the bench, make him the emergency quarterback the rest of the way. Do it. Anything to get the championship.
Mike, unfortunately, this is where we are in the hour. This time is going really fast for today's
God,
show.
Yeah, it has.
Let me throw something out at you that I came across over the weekend on social media. Get this, and I don't know if this is even true, but I seen this, and I assume that this particular source wouldn't make this up. But I'm like, this is the 5 scariest hitters in the NFL according to the Madden football game. You want to hear this list of 5? Top 5 scariest hitters
according to Madden. All right.
According to Madden.
Okay.
Believe me, we're in bizarro world here. Let me start with the 5th. The 5th hardest hitter according to the Madden football game with a 90, CJ Mosley from the New York Jets.
He's a thumper. Yeah.
Don't want to run into him. Number 4, and the toughest 5 scariest hitters according to Madden, Harrison Smith, the DB from Minnesota. He's a 91. He's a hammer.
Yeah.
I'll take that. Number 3 on this list from Washington, coming in with a 92, Bobby Wagner. Hey, he's a hammer. I have no problem.
That's your guy, man. You love Bobby Wagner.
I love Bobby Wagner. Number two in the league, the scariest hitters on the top 5 list by Madden with a 92 score. Mike, get this, Derwin James. Huh? Derwin James, Los Angeles
To me,
Chargers.
I think. Oh, I want to know who. You said he was what, number two?
Number 2.
Oh,
So
I want
number
to know who
5,
number one hit. I want to know who
you
number
you,
one
you want to
is.
know who number
Oh
1
my
is. Number
goodness.
5 is Mosley from the Jets. Number 4 is Harrison Smith from the Vikings. Number 3, Bobby Wagner from Washington. Number 2, Derwin James with his score of 92 for the Chargers. Number 1 on this list from Madden, the scariest hitters, Mike, by score with a 93, higher than everybody else. Get this, guys, ready? Cam Hayward.
Ah!
Where am I? He's
Darwin
the
James might be
top
the
scariest hitter in the NFL, according to anybody. That's a bizarre. It's bizarre.
that's absurd and bizarre. I
With a
kind of love it though.
93.
I love it though.
Derwin James is
Like,
a 92.
Darwin James might be the scariest man in the NFL right now.
Right? Cam Hayward?
Cam, when Cam gets beat on those running backs, though, he will blow them up. But no, no.
I seen this. I thought I
I
gotta
love it
talk
though.
about this.
I love it though. You know, Cam has that somewhere written down that he's the number
Damn
one
right he
hardest hitter
does.
in Madden 24.
Right next to his little patch on his jersey, his Walter Payton patch.
No, he couldn't wait to get that patch to finally say he won something in the NFL. Ooh, Fields for Young and a receiver, so it'd probably be Thielen. I wouldn't do it.
I would.
I,
I think
I've never been a Bryce Young fan. When he was down in Alabama, it felt like every throw was a miracle throw. He'd scramble, just get it up there to one of the 12.
Wait.
NFL
I'm trying to.
receivers.
Hold on. I'm trying to understand. What if they trade Fields for? Oh, no,
For
I don't
Young.
want.
I
I
don't
don't
want
want
Bryce
Young.
Young. I
But
don't want
I would
Bryce Young.
I'd take Thielen. I would. He's listen. He's as good as Deontay Johnson at this point. That's all. That's all I'm asking for. I don't think that we're gonna. I wouldn't suspect we're gonna get anything spectacular. But if we do, great. But the lowest I would go is an Adam Thielen. That's my standard line.
If we can get him for one of our multiple 7th-round picks, I would.
I
Do it.
wouldn't give up a lot for him either. Yeah, you're right. I wouldn't any of these
He's
receivers,
only
Mike. I
played
wouldn't give
three
up a lot
games this
for.
year. He's only played 3 games this year. Dude's been banged up. He's on IR. So we ain't
I would
trading for
not.
him. He's on that 4-week IR. We're not trading for him.
I would not give up a lot for any of these guys. I'm going to be honest. I would find the best deal, find somebody that at least was as good as Deontay, and let's just go because we went with what we have so far. But we
Yeah.
do need a number 2, guys.
So
Mike, we do have to
that'd be
move
like a
on.
Jacoby Myers,
The
a Slayton
Pittsburgh
type
Penguins
guy,
are back in action over the week. Pittsburgh Penguins are back in action over the weekend. Mike, they won 2 in a row. They beat the Canadiens 3-1. Pittsburgh improves to 5-7-1 on the season. Crosby manages to get 2 more goals in this game. They play tomorrow against the New York Islanders in New York at 7:30. The Pittsburgh Riverhounds knocked out of the playoffs against the Charleston Battery. They lose 1-0 in the USL Conference quarterfinals, so the Pittsburgh Hounds are eliminated.
Kind of saw that coming. They've been up and down this year.
Right. We're going to blow through this one for obvious reasons. Over the weekend, the Penn State Nittany Lions, they fall to Ohio State 20-13. Pitt loses to SMU 48-25. And these teams are all ranked still, and that's all we're going to talk about. The Pitt
I
Panthers.
turned the game on at 8:00, and there was no game on. I don't know what happened. That's fake news. No game was played. It was supposed to be an 8:00
The Pitt
game.
Panthers fell to 23. The Penn State Nittany Lions fell to 6. In the Ohio State Buckeyes, they improved to number 3. Penn State plays Washington Saturday, 8:00. Pitt plays Virginia Saturday, 8:00. And Ohio State plays Purdue at 12. West Virginia's back from their bye week. They have Cincinnati this week at noon. One more thing, Mike, about Pittsburgh sports. Before we do move on, the Pirates' Jared Triolo did win the Gold Glove for the utility player. Congratulations to Jared Triolo, Gold Glove winner this season.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Good for him, man.
Mike, was that the guy? Was that the guy I wasn't a big fan of?
Yeah.
Triolo? Yeah. So,
Mike,
what do I know about baseball? Well done, Jared.
Real quick, Mike, I'm just going to read a couple of these. Give me a second. Brian Pasquale says we should trade all of our bad players for everyone's good players. I love that idea. That's like, Madden in real life. Mike says it worked out for the Penguins.
It did.
Corey Beaver said, I think if we trade Fields, I see them keeping him to learn from Russ. Okay, I see. I don't think we trade Fields. I
Yeah.
see him keeping the alert from Russ. Russ would cost more than Fields next year, so we keep Fields in our fourth. All right, interesting. Ron says, I'm not a Young fan either, but I wouldn't be surprised. And Brian says, Mike, due to an unexpected high turnout for the election, Republicans are voting Tuesday and Democrats are voting Wednesday. Interesting. Uh,
You missed the first. That was during the first 10 minutes, Brian. First 10 minutes. Try and
Mike,
catch
why
up.
don't you
Try
work
and
on the
keep
last
up.
10 minutes and tell us about the website?
The2winsers.com. Head on over there. Everyone, check it out. We got the merch store. We got all of our links to social media over there. A place where you can watch and listen to the show. And we got the blog up. Got a new one up. Just little stuff about the Steelers' first half of the season and what's to come. So go over to the2winsers.com and check it out, everyone.
You know what's funny? Feel the Steel was looking for Brian. Now Brian's here. I don't know if Feel the Steel's with us anymore, but he says, "Where's the Watt hater?" All right, guys. So this is the Washington Commanders / Redskins question of the day. Of course, here on the show, whoever the Steelers play that week, that is who the trivia question is about. Guys, put on your thinking cap. Guys on the board, everybody at home. Here we go. Question of the day. What Washington quarterback is known for knocking himself out of a division game against the New York Giants? Guys, one more time. What Washington quarterback is known for knocking himself out of a division game against the New York Giants? Take a moment to think that over. Guys, we're live. We're live 5 days a week right here, 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, every Monday through Friday. All right, guys, the question of the day. What Washington quarterback is known for knocking himself out of a division game against the New York Giants? I just want to say, for reference, he is from not far from Pittsburgh. I think he's from up in Ford City, Oil City, something like that, something up north. I do believe this quarterback is from. That is my hint of the day. So here we go, guys. What Washington quarterback is known for knocking himself out of a division game against the New York Giants? Mike, you have any guesses on which quarterback this is?
Wasn't that Rippin?
Is that your final
Mark
answer?
Rippin? Yeah, I'm gonna go with him.
All right. Final answer. Mark Rippin by Mike. And on the board, everybody, if you want to take a guess at it as well, what Washington quarterback is known for knocking himself out of a division game against the New York Giants? Mike says Mark Rippin. I'll give a second to see if anybody on the board wants to give it a shot. But he is from north of Pittsburgh. I believe Oil City, maybe. I think it might be where he's from. Mike says Mark Rippin. Question of the day. Which Washington quarterback is known for knocking himself out of a division game against the New York Giants? P on the board said Rippin always seemed to be a bit slow. He was. He was. Mike, you said Mark Rippin?
Yeah,
The correct answer is Gus Frerotte.
that's right.
Gus Frerotte. He's after
Mm.
rushing for a
I get
touchdown.
those two
Gus Frerotte
confused.
rammed his
Yeah.
head into the
Oh,
wall and gave himself a concussion. After rushing for a touchdown, Gus Frerotte rammed his head into the wall, giving himself a concussion, knocking himself out of the game. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was
yeah.
over on the right hand corner of the field. Gus Frerotte. There you go.
I always forget about Gus Frerotte until we bring this up. That's my only memory of Gus Frerotte.
Isn't that wild? I mean, you see guys do stupid things all the time, but he takes and he slams his head against
That was one
brick
of the
wall.
best
It was a
things
brick
ever.
wall, Mike. A brick wall.
I loved it. It was great. Dude is an idiot. It's
Yeah,
because he was playing well up to that point too.
yeah. He was an all right quarterback. Kind of a dummy, obviously.
A little bit of a dummy. A little bit of a dummy.
But tomorrow, do join us. We'll be talking about the big game tonight again. Especially if the Chiefs lose, it really turns into a big game.
Yeah.
So root. Okay, there it is. Ron Navy has it. Oil City is close to Titusville. That's right. P says, "Oh yeah, couldn't get right."
Good old guy. Yeah.
Good old Gus.
Did he play for the Lions too at one point?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. I'm too lazy to look up Gus Frerodte's career.
But tonight, guys, this game could be big again, especially if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and Baker Mayfield knock off the Chiefs. That'll bring us within one game of the number one seed in the AFC halfway through the season. Again, you don't really get much better than this, especially not knowing quite exactly what we had coming into the season. Learned a lot about this team throughout the first half of their schedule. We're going to learn a lot more through the second half of the schedule. Hopefully, we can get a couple guys back healthy, maybe Frazier, who believes he'll be playing this week, but we'll hear more tomorrow and then through the week who will be available and unavailable for the Pittsburgh Steelers come Sunday when we face off against the Washington Commanders. So tonight is kind of a big game if you're a Steelers fan, especially if the Chiefs do lose. Mike, anything before we start getting ready to take off for the day, man?
Oh, let's see. Cam Sutton said he's ready to play, but Trevor Austin said, "Oh, we're going to wait and see the conditioning level." So Cam Sutton may or may not be playing in this game. I would like to see him out there. Another weapon to the secondary out there that we need. And I don't know what happened, man. Penn State did not play last week. Some odd reason we were being put down for a loss. Pitt, I don't remember seeing them on TV as well. Somehow we're put down as a loss. I think the NCAA needs to look into this and what are they doing to the state of Pennsylvania.
Not a good week in college football for the PA
God,
teams.
no, it was fucking terrible. Penn State should have won. We had so many opportunities to win that game. James Franklin starts chirping with students in the stands. You got commits on their phone texting people saying, "I'm probably going to decommit now."
Yeah, they got problems. Well, hey, we'll be back at it next week. And again, the Penn State Nittany Lions, they dropped to number 6. They play Washington at 8 o'clock on Saturday night. So if you're a Nittany Lion fan, I agree.
Put us at number 10 every year. And if we beat Ohio State, we can make it into the top 10.
It's the same thing every single year in that conference. It's unbelievable,
so
actually.
Frustrating. It's just frustrating because
I don't want to
beat a Steeler fan. You know what's going to happen.
Yeah, Penn State.
I should have switched.
Ain't they precious?
I should have switched schools when I had the chance.
Switch schools? Where'd you go? Community college?
No. Like rooting interest. When they had a big scandal. Like, okay, they fired a bunch. They fired people.
I thought you meant you should have went to Penn State instead. I don't know. No. Listen, Mike, also Gus Frerotte played with the Vikings. John did say, I do recall that now. And Ron also says, we always played at Oil City, Titusville, and Franklin, Meadville, and Sports. So that's more up near Erie because I am familiar with Meadville. But that sounds right. So thank you for that information as well, Ron. Again, guys, Brian says Joe knew.
Obviously,
he knew something. But yes, Monday Night Football tonight. Ain't really much else going on. Penguins are off till tomorrow night. But the Monday Night Football game tonight is going to be the beginning of the halfway point, Mike. Once that game concludes, it will be the halfway point of the NFL season. And again, the big day, the biggest day, the day that we've all been waiting for a long time is trade deadline day. That's right. Tomorrow we'll know if we're going to have any receivers coming in or any players going out. We'll know that by tomorrow at 4 o'clock. So keep your fingers crossed on that. Other than that, Mike, I do want to make sure I say thank you to everybody. I want to thank everybody for coming and hanging out and checking us out today. We certainly appreciate each and every one of you. We wouldn't do it without you. So I want to say thank you to everybody on the board. You guys always keep things interesting here on the show. You know that. What am I forgetting, Mike?
I don't know, but I'm reading P's story here. Courage and blew up in Titusville, Florida. Florida man gave him a ride. I wonder if it was Ron. Yeah, I see the Saints fired their head coach. I think the Rams, or not the Rams, excuse me, the Raiders fired their entire offensive coaching staff. The bloodletting has started already in the NFL.
All right, there you go. Should be an interesting 24 hours, rest of the week even, guys. So keep up on that. We'll be back tomorrow first thing to talk about all that and more and continue to get ready for the Washington Commanders this weekend. Steelers looking to go 7-2 when they take on the Commanders on Sunday. Checking us out from Mike in the Steeler Central Mobile Studio, myself, the two Dumb Yinzers. Everybody have a great Monday, and we'll see you tomorrow.